Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena Ray, and in today's video we're going to be doing a bunch of freezer prepping. So the first thing we're going to do is make some homemade hot pockets with puff pastry, and I might do some more with pizza crust, depending on if I have more ingredients or not. But we're going to get started with that, and then we're going to get started on some meat marinade. So I'm going to start by putting a little flour on this and rolling it out a little bit thinner. This is puff pastry from Trader Joe's. It's my favorite store-bought puff pastry. And I have been using my rolling pin today, so it's a little dirty. And I am preheating my oven as well. I think this might be all that I'm going to be able to get it to roll out to. I'm just reusing my cookie sheet because I made some cookies earlier. There goes my dog, sorry. Hashtag real life. So I'm going to cut it in half, lengthwise, and then cut it into 3 pieces. Okay, and then I have some homemade pizza sauce and some cheese over here. Let's get them separated a little bit first. And I've actually never made them with puff pastry. I usually just make them with homemade pizza dough. But I see people make them with these, so let's try it. Now I don't want to stuff these too much to the point where they overflow, but I do want to get as much as I can in here because I want them to be filling. So that's maybe a little more than a tablespoon of filling on each one. And then I have this pepperoni from Trader Joe's that I'm going to use. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this pepperoni up. So I'll be right back. So I got some pepperoni cut up, and now we're just going to fill it out or put it into our little pizza pockets. Don't really know how much I should put, because like I said, I don't want to overfill these to the point where they just seep out. But at the same time, I don't want it to be just puff pastry, even though puff pastry is delicious. I love puff pastry, but that looks like enough. I think I can put a little bit. Should I chance it? Let's not chance it. Let's just put some cheese and onions. And I have this caramelized onion cheddar from Trader Joe's that I'm just gonna put on here. And you guys know I don't like cheese like that, so I'm not gonna put too much. Just enough so that it binds together. And then I'm going to do some onions. Caramelized. And I actually caramelized these a few days ago and just stuck them in the fridge. So let's put some of those on there. Break it up a little bit. I love caramelized onions. They're like one of my favorite things. Every time I buy onions, my family's always like, oh, what are you going to do with those? Caramelize them? I'm like, duh. Is there anything better? Okay. Now here's the tricky part. Let's try and close these up. Stretch it down. And then once I have them all closed, I'll go ahead and crimp the ends. Let's put a little more pizza sauce on this one. Don't want them to be dry. And if you guys want my homemade pizza sauce recipe, I can definitely share that. It's delicious. It's a little spicy and sweet because I use San Marzano tomatoes. I'm going to just stretch this out a little bit so I can wrap around the entire thing. And just like that, we have 3 pizza pockets. And I have one more sheet like this, so I'm going to do those too. And it looks like I'll probably have enough for the pizza dough one, so I'm going to go ahead and get those started. So I just placed our pizza pockets, homemade hot pockets, in the fridge because with puff pastry, you want it to be as cold as possible so that you get a big flaky rise. So those are chilling before I put them in the oven. The oven is preheating, and I'm gonna marinate my beef and my chicken, but my beef is still pretty frozen, so we're gonna go ahead and just make the marinade and put some on the chicken so we can get that back into the freezer. So into our blender, I'm gonna add some frozen garlic that I minced myself. Let's say maybe about 6 cloves. And then I'm gonna add an entire can of chipotles in adobo sauce, because I'm gonna marinate quite a few pounds of meat. And then I'm gonna add some black pepper. And we're doing a honey chipotle. I don't know if I said that, but a honey chipotle marinade. And then I'm gonna add some garlic powder. I'm kind of just eyeballing everything. I don't really measure when it comes to seasoning. And then we'll go ahead and give it a taste after we blend it up. I'm gonna add some cumin. Some lime juice. If you don't have fresh lime juice, you could use vinegar. That would be good too. But vinegar and chicken gets a little weird, so just to note that. Wipe my hands off really quickly. And then we're gonna add some honey. maybe about a 1/4 cup of honey. And I think I'm gonna add some Korean red pepper flakes. Maybe that much. And we can adjust the seasonings to how we want it. Okay. The thing I haven't added yet was oil, so I'm just gonna grab a plastic spoon. To give this a taste and see how we like it. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, it's spicy, but the flavor is delicious. I think I'm gonna add a tiny bit more honey and maybe a pinch of salt. But the adobo, I think that has salt in it. It is. It's kind of salty. Oh, I'm forgetting my cilantro. That's gonna add a nice fresh flavor. So I added probably 2 more tablespoons of honey. And I have some washed cilantro here. Just gonna rip off maybe that much. And blend it up again, and I'm eating this, so I don't mind double dipping. And anybody else that eats it won't mind either. That's delicious. That is absolutely delicious. And very smoky and spicy, but so good. So I'm gonna add some oil and then put some of it over our, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of water too. That's spicy, but it's good. Some oil and water, and then we're gonna put it over our chicken, and our beef is still frozen, so we're gonna have to wait on that. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our pizza pockets in the oven. So I just have 3 really large chicken breasts here, and I'm gonna pour over some of our marinade, and then get this into the freezer. Oops. That marinade is really good. Marinade 1 is complete. I'm gonna put this in another bag just because I don't have any freezer bags. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in another bag before I put it in the freezer and label it. So for our next marinade, I have these short ribs that I've just been soaking in some water and lemon juice to get all of the impurities out. And in here, I'm just gonna put this marinade right into the bag because I know it's good. So I'm gonna add some ground ginger. If you have fresh, please use it. Adding maybe about a teaspoon of ground ginger. And I'm gonna add white and black pepper. maybe about a teaspoon of white pepper, half a teaspoon, and a full teaspoon of black pepper. And what I'm going to do with these when I want to cook them is, after I take them out of the marinade, I'm going to sear them on both sides and then braise them. And this is dark soy sauce. I'm adding maybe a 1/4 cup of that. And then I have some brown sugar. I'm going to add maybe a 1/4 cup of that as well. Maybe a little more. I'm going to go in with some of our garlic. And I like a lot of garlic, so I tend to put a lot in my marinades. But obviously it's to taste. If you don't like as much garlic, put a little less. And then I'm going to add some Korean red pepper flakes again. Maybe that much. I think this is 1/8 of a cup. Yeah. So 1/16 of a cup is what I added. Oh, that pepper and those flakes are making me a little sneezy. And then I'm going to add some rice vinegar. Maybe a tablespoon of rice vinegar. And then I have some sesame oil, and sesame oil is really strong, so I try not to do too much of this. I don't like it when it's overpowering. So maybe a teaspoon of sesame oil. And that is it for that marinade. Super easy. And this is going to be so good over like some steamed rice. Yummy. This would also be a really good marinade with pork short ribs. And again, I'm going to double bag this, but I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Like, I didn't finish telling you what I was going to do with this once I decide to cook it. So I'm going to go ahead and braise the meat, and then with the leftover marinade, I'm going to go ahead and reduce it down and turn it into basically like a glaze. Korean short ribs, 2, 12, 24. And I think the next time I go to the store, I actually am going to get some pork short ribs, because pork short ribs are just delicious. So there's our second marinade. Put that in the freezer. Our pizza pockets have chilled enough. I decided to only do these. I'm not going to do the regular pizza crust ones. I'm just cutting a vent in the top so steam can escape. So we've got 6 pizza pockets, and they have pepperoni, caramelized onions, spicy pizza sauce, and caramelized onion cheddar. I'm sticking those in the oven for probably about 25 minutes. Our next cut of beef is a chuck roast. I had 2 chuck roasts and they're still really frozen. But I'm just gonna go ahead and pour the marinade over them anyway, or at least this one. That one that I have over there is really, really large, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with that one. But here is our honey chipotle. And what I'm gonna do with these is I'm just gonna put them in the crock pot. And we'll have shredded beef tacos. So kind of like barbacoa. I wish this was thawed out, but it's okay. It's just going back into the freezer, so no need. I want to make sure I get all of the air out. So this is our third meat, and this is our honey chipotle chuck roast. Our pizza pockets just finished cooking. I'm sorry if you can't really hear me, but I'm cooking some carne asada. Here are our pizza pockets. So yummy. Only one of them leaked a little bit, but there they are, 6 pizza pockets. So now we're making our buffalo chicken dip mixture. So I just have a little cream cheese in there. I'm gonna add some cheddar cheese that I shredded, or my mom shredded, home shredded. I wish I had some, well, I do have Monterey. I wonder if I should add some of that. So I added a little bit of Monterey Jack, and I'm gonna add some seasonings. I've got garlic powder, onion powder, ranch dressing blend, and some ajika. And I'm not measuring, I'm just putting some in. I think I'm going to add some caramelized onions to this. And of course, we need to add our mayonnaise. I might need more cream cheese. Matter of fact, I feel like I am going to need more cream cheese. And maybe a 1/4 cup of mayo. And then I've got some buffalo sauce. And I don't really measure anything, I'm just going by eye here. I've made this so many times. My family hates seeing me make this because it's literally, it's my hyperfixation meal, and it's been my hyperfixation meal for literally like 2 years now. I would make it all the time when I was in Indiana. And then when I came back home, I would make it all the time too. And I do make it all the time. So I know we're not going to need any more mayo because it's pretty, the consistency looks nice. Once out all that savory tartness, and some black pepper. Give it another mix. And then set this aside, and we're going to cook our tortillas. These are the uncooked tortillas from Costco. I got these this weekend. I don't really know how you're supposed to cook them, but we're just gonna go for it. And while that's heating up, we can go ahead and start cutting up our carne asada. So I'm gonna move this over here for a minute. And the carne asada isn't completely cooked. It's so juicy and good. But you want to cut against the grain, so the grain is this way, right? Oh, no, the grain's that way, so I want to be cutting this way. I went ahead and wrapped our tortillas in this cloth just so they could stay nice and soft. Actually gonna start with the ones on the bottom because I think those are a little more pliable. And then wrap those up so that they don't get hard. And we'll start with our carne asada mixture. And these aren't very big, so I'm not gonna fill them up too much. But in here I just have, I don't know if I already said it, but sour cream, carne asada, a little sazon, cilantro and onion, and then Monterey Jack cheese and cheddar cheese. There's one. Five carne asada flautas. And let's move on to our buffalo ones. Now I'm gonna make our buffalo flautas. I think we'll get a little more than 5 with these, just because I have a lot more of it. There's one. So it just had me add the water. I decided to add the milk, but I'm adding a little bit of sugar, and I'm gonna add an egg because the texture, no. Got a shell in there. Okay, now I'm gonna mix it again. The texture was just really weird, and the taste, it was like not sweet at all. Guess that's what I get for trying to take the easy way out. Much better. So most of the pancakes are cooking. Not most of the pancakes. Some of the pancakes are cooking. And I have some here. And I think the egg and the sugar, these are good now. But I knew they weren't going to be good just straight out of the box because the texture was weird. They weren't sweet.